with the martyrdom of Polycarp, the most horrible persecution of the Christian era began. In the years following the death of the Apostle John, we find the figure of Polycarp. His story, often called the martyrdom of Polycarp, is a document by the historian Eusebius on early Christian literature that describes the life, ministry, and martyrdom of Polycarp, the Bishop of Smyrna. This historical account is considered one of the earliest testimonies of Christian martyrdom and provides valuable information about the beliefs and practices of the early church in Smyrna and other Christian communities. In the previous video, we covered the basic concepts on this subject, and in today's video, we continue our exploration. Be sure to find the links in the description. Historian Eusebius tells us that Polycarp, born between 69 and 156 AD, was an elderly man of about 86 years. He was a disciple of the Apostle John and the bishop of the church in Smyrna. Because of his faith, Polycarp was delivered to the Roman authorities by Jews whom Jesus called from the synagogue of Satan. Remember that this is not new, as Jesus had already told another group of Jews, and I read John 8:44. You are of your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. I conclude the reading.
At that critical moment, the Roman proconsul gave him the choice to renounce and curse the name of Christ and offer a sacrifice to Caesar to save his life or be burned alive. Without hesitating for a moment, Polycarp replied, You threaten me with the fire that burns for an hour and then goes out, but you are ignorant of the fire, of the coming judgment, and the eternal punishment reserved for the wicked. So why are you waiting? Bring whatever you like. This was his response to the Roman proconsul, showing his loyalty to Christ unto death. He added, I have served him for 86 years, and he has never done me any harm. On the contrary, he has blessed me with good things. How can I hate the one I have always served, my master, my savior, from whom I expect my happiness, the one who punishes the wicked and avenges the righteous? Knowing his fate already, Polycarp said, Let the will of God be done.
The historian Eusebius then added that the elderly leader remained unperturbed and stayed calm and unyielding. According to his account, Polycarp did not deny Christ and was therefore taken to the pyre, but miraculously, the flames did not reach him and did not burn him. As a result, the executioner had to stab him to finally bring about his death.
Historian Eusebius also recorded the brutal persecutions against Christians during this period of the church. He confirmed that they were scourged with such intensity that even the internal parts of their bodies were exposed. Then they were subjected to further tortures, and ultimately, they were thrown to wild beasts while still alive. Thus began the era of the church in Smyrna. Satan raged against them, a dark period in which men and women held firmly to the truth of Christ, as taught by the original apostles, even unto the most terrible death. The martyrdom of Polycarp was the precursor of the type of persecution and suffering that the church would experience. The history of the church in Smyrna extends from around 100 AD to 350 AD. It was during this time that the church endured brutal persecution under Roman emperors who considered themselves gods, such as Marcus Aurelius, Vespasian, and Domitian, who were sadistic and relentless in their persecution of Christians. The worst of all these persecutions occurred during a period of 10 years, perhaps the 10 days to which Jesus referred in his message to the church in Smyrna, under the Emperor Diocletian. This horrible persecution and the massacre of Christians took place from 303 AD to 313 AD. As you mentioned, it lasted for 10 years until Emperor Constantine ascended to the imperial throne, ending the torture and massive killings of those who professed belief in Jesus Christ. In summary, the refusal to worship and adore the Roman emperor led to the martyrdom of the early Christians, as in the case of Polycarp.
Here are questions that prompt us to reflect. 1. Would it be difficult to remain faithful to Christ and go against culture or family? 2. Has your faith ever been tested? How did you respond? 3. What would you be willing to sacrifice for your faith, your life? How do you respond? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe if you enjoy these topics and wish to join this community of believers with curious minds. Don't miss the new content I have prepared on the apocalypse. Be sure to find all the links in the description. The next video will be a break from this series on the apocalypse to share a prophetic message that was recently sent to a servant of the Lord. The message is for all believers and concerns the war that has just broken out in Israel. I feel the urgency to share it with everyone as soon as possible. We'll see you in the next video, and may God bless you.